Hello, welcome to this Data from Europe presentation. It's titled Data Detective, Uncovering the Secrets of Inherited Dashboards. And my name is Agata Mężyńska, and I will introduce you to the subject. Before I do that, however, I would like to take this chance and thank all the organizers for allowing us to meet during the Data from Europe and also allowing other people to join us through the online presentations and webinars. Thank you, DataFam. Actually, it's great privilege and fun to be the part of the community. I enjoy it every day. So if you haven't yet joined us, do for sure. It's worth it. And a little bit about myself. My name is Agata Mężyńska. I come from Poland. I work as consultant in New Data Labs. And I consult and teach and coach on everyday basis. But besides, I'm known as Tableauich. So when I was asked to fill the slide with some logo, besides photo, of course, I wondered which one to put here. Should it be Tableau? I do not work for Tableau. Should it be New Data Labs? Well, it wouldn't fit in circle that way. So I thought I will put here my own logo, and I'm known as as Tableauich. Tableauich in Polish, sometimes called Wróżka Tableau. So yeah, you've got here the logo of Tableauich. What I will be talking about, I will start with telling you how to look at the new dashboard that you approach, some that has been prepared by somebody else, maybe the dashboard that you have inherited at work, or maybe the one that you approach while searching through Tableau Public and discovering stuff there. And we will be talking about the steps that you should never give up in the process. Then I will go to telling you a little bit about calculations and how to uncover the secrets of that quickly, how to break into the calculation layer. I will be also talking about the beauty of dashboard objects hierarchy. I will reveal a couple of traps that you might approach on your way, and we will sum up with a couple of lessons that you might draw from this process for future. So let's go with that. Why people would like to look at inherited dashboards and dig deeper into them? Why would they want to reveal the secrets behind the pictures? Well, sometimes when you inherit the dashboards, you are asked to fix something. Well, tiny detail, you do not have then to learn everything that is there, but some aspect, and be able to fix some problem or maybe modify the report. Slightly more complicated situation is when you are asked to rebuild the report. Well, on that occasion, I usually say that probably it's quicker to build it from scratch again, but we do not often have the luxury. We have to stick to what has been done before and just rebuild basing on the solutions that have been already introduced there. So we need to learn the secrets of such inherited dashboard anyway. And then finally, there is something called reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is absolutely the best way to learn Tableau and probably any other tool as well. Once you go to the dashboards that have been prepared by other people, maybe the ones that the dashboards that you will find in your company Tableau Cloud, Tableau Server, or maybe the ones taken from Tableau Public, when you go deeper into that and try to search how certain features have been built, how somebody has managed to get the result that they are showing, and you try to just unhide the secrets of there, that's called reverse engineering, and that's absolutely the best way to learn. I have learned amazing amount of things just through the method. So if we know what for, it's time to get to the core. How will we get to the core? Just switching to Tableau. So I've got here a dashboard, the dashboard prepared by my colleague Bartek Ryś. And what's the history of the dashboard? Well, in our company, in New Data Labs, we have such a tradition that whenever new consultant joins our team to check what he or she can do, we provide the people with a set of data and we ask them to build the dashboard. And well, the funny part is that at first we are completely not interested with the dashboard. We are interested with the process. So we look at what we get from the beginning of the exercise and we provide the people with as much feedback as we can think of. And we look what will happen later. And usually the result of the process are really amazing dashboards. And the one here is one that has happened on the way. That was just the part of the process. I guess it wasn't the final, but it's already very, very interesting. Why is it interesting? Because, well, first, I'm absolute ignorant as far as social media statistics are concerned. So that's the challenge for me as far as subject is concerned. And then Bartek build it also in a way that I would probably not use as my first design choice. And that's also a challenge for me to decipher it. Okay, it was challenge before I started building the presentation, but still, that's a challenge. So how do I approach that? I look at that and I can see a couple of different charts, instructions, titles, etc. So I want to look at that first, just in a way that viewer would approach the dashboard. I read titles, I go through charts that I do have, I click whatever I can so I can see the report here. Yeah, a couple of targets, probably parameters, but actually targets that I can fill in here. Okay, they are in thousands. Probably I should write, see what will happen if I just write something smaller here. Yeah, there was something has changed here. I have no idea what, but something has changed. Okay, so I know that I can play with this. I have some instructions. What? Exclamation mark and dot. Some dots here, some exclamation marks here. And what I should do is just to read it step by step without going deeper. Once I get pretty good understanding what I get as a result, what was provided here for viewers, I can go deeper. So what would be my next step after clicking? So I click a little more to show you a little more about the dashboard. I've got here, okay, some place for explanations. Here, when I go into informations, there's some information about the dashboard. Here I can switch between report and raw data. Okay, looks great. There's some edit buttons. When I click on it, I actually can choose some other metric and change it. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, looks pretty nice. When I go through that, I'm ready to go to the next step. What would be my next step? Well, it would be looking at charts. So I go to edit mode. And let's say I want to look at the chart. What I do, I go inside of the chart. I try to have some guesses. How was it built? Well, I've got a couple of pills here. I've got a couple of shelves. I can go to one shelf. That's the line chart. So that's the line behind. Okay. It's about emotional content. And I've got stretch of all emotional contents that I have here, the variety. Good. And then I've got dots, and these are more detailed informations here. And I've got something in the middle. So what can be that? I click on it. So, With the menu, I know that's the most probably the reference line. If I'm not sure, I can go to edit. Yeah, that's how I learn about that. Very important shelf also, if it's included, is filters. Why? Often filters influence our view, so it's really worth trying what will happen if we will get rid of the filters. Okay, never all at once. Go by one. So if I had 5 filters here and I wanted to learn if they influence my view, I would drag out first one, get rid of it, look what will happen to my picture. If nothing, or if I already know what has happened, then I just press Ctrl Z or go back with my arrow. The filter is back then, and I do the same for the second, third, fourth, and fifth in a row, one by one, checking what they do to the view and what will be changed. That's a very effective technique, very simple. So that's another step in my analysis. What else can I do? I, of course, can check if if I can find here some actions. So what I do, I go to dashboard, actions, and when I go here, I click this sheet, and now I can check what is there in my actions. Hopeful, here's just 2. That's good information. Sometimes there are tens of them, and then thank people who have described them. If there is 1 or 2, it's easy to figure out which one is doing what and go back to them one by one. If they are just named parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, that's way more difficult. So think about the people who have done, if they have done, some nice comments here and thank them. Okay, we are through that. We have seen that. So what would be my steps of unhiding what is there in the dashboards? First, I should try to discover that just as viewer would do. No going into the guts, no breaking into the calculations, just discovering it as viewer. Then we look at key charts and data, analyze what's there in the shelves, paying attention especially to filters and detail, and finally we look at the actions. We click, read, check, and try to uncover the secrets. There are a couple of tools that Tableau has provided that might or might not be helpful. The first one that I would like to mention, I will just go into one of the charts. The first one of them would be summary. You probably have seen it somehow and somewhere. If I go to worksheet, I've got here show summary, there's the summary, and to be honest, it has been never any help for me. So I just mentioned that, and that's enough. I go back to my dashboard, and there are 2 other tools that might be helpful. The one that everybody knows, if we unhide our sheets, we can not only see which of them have been used here, and in my dashboard, I've got the list of the charts that have been used in the dashboards. All of them are marked with small blue dot. Yeah, but if I unhide, I can now go one by one and check what is inside them. That's a lot of work, but it's worth it. I will hide them again. But unfortunately, I'm forced to quote here Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He said that what is essential is actually invisible to the eye, and that's absolutely true with Tableau. Going through through the process that I have already shown, you can see quite a lot, but that's not yet everything. So what else do we have? There are show hide buttons. Well, that's pretty easy. You have a button, you click on it, and when you click, oh, I'm in edit mode, so I need to alt click, not click, but my user will just click. And when we click, then it reveals its secrets and we know what's underneath. That's pretty simple, and that's not really a challenge. So yeah, sorry for that. Okay. Then the other thing is that part of some charts might not be visible because they show up just when we click something and we use our filter action. Here we've got such an example. When I click on one of the bars, I show subcategories, I show some more detailed data. When I unclick, I do not have that. And usually we discover stuff like that if they are not visible because, for example, chart takes the whole space and there is no information. Okay, there is information. Click to show more. But if there was no instruction, we usually unhide the sheets. We go one by one, and at some moment we discover something that does not have content inside. Here I've got just title. When I drag out my action from filters shelf, I will discover that there is something more. So that's the dragging out of the filter pills. And I can go also to subcategories, same history. I drag out ship mode and I get my chart. That's not actually what I want to do because I want to reveal that with the action. But what I have here is also another problem that you might approach. These in tooltip. These in tooltips are tricky. Look, I have unhidden all the charts that I have in my hide the filter dashboard. And even though I have done that, I have a visin tooltip here, and the visin tooltip has not been shown. So where is that? It's hidden in second layer of hiding under my subcategories. So I have to click my subcategories and unhide it, unhide all sheets. And now this TT visin tooltip appears, tooltip. I can hide it again, but it's not listed anywhere. So unless you know that there's visin tooltip, you might never find it. So what I do, I write this caption instruction. Beware, here's visin tooltip. Caption is a wonderful place to put any information for those who will inherit your dashboards, and also for yourself in a couple of months' time when you might not remember that. And in case of visin tooltips, I always put the information. Beware, here's visin tooltips. When you go back to your dashboard, you won't find the visin tooltip on your list. And even if you go deeper, if you go to layout and look at the hierarchy of the shapes and get to of objects and get to the subcategory where is the hidden dashboard, even if I show the dashboard and have chance to get to the visin tooltip, I do not have information that visin tooltip is here. So please let your users, those who will come after you, know about that, putting the information in the caption. Okay, and there is one more problem that you might approach, and these are visibility zones. You won't see that in the chart. We will go to another one. And I've got here a nice dashboard. If I click on my charts, I've got here instruction, choose the chart. When I click on map, I've got map. When I click on bar chart, I've got bar chart. And that's not the only thing that is changing. Actually, with this in tooltip, we can not only, like with filters, hide and unhide charts, but we can actually hide and unhide any element that is there in your dashboard. So I've got here a couple of filters: order date, product group. When I change from bar chart to map, I've got here order date and state, not product group, but state. So I have also changed my filters. And that's something that is really, really tricky to find on your dashboard. Why? I will go back to my Twitter analysis. And let's look here. I've got a couple of these in tooltip, visibility zones charts here. So I will go to layout. In my layout, I've got hierarchy. That's pretty extensive, so I will hide it. And looking at that, I would have to go one by one and check in the upper part if there appears tick by control visibility zone using. And as you can see, there is like tons of different elements here, and I have to unhide all of them one by one, and that's not easy. Okay, I have cheated a little, so I have marked the ones where I can expect my visibility zones. So I will uncover these. Okay. So let's look at that. If I go element by element, just marking them, I will have information, and in the end, I will get to some point where there is information that I've got visibility zones used here, but it's really hard to, really difficult to find. Once I find it, I can learn that it's done with parameter. This parameter, it's not with parameter, it's with calculation. Calculation param one show height. And what would happen if I would like to learn what's the calculation? I can do that from the dashboard level. I can go to analysis, edit calculated field, but actually it's active only when I go to chart. So, okay, I click to chart and I try to memorize. See param 1 show hide, okay? I come here. Okay, that's completely different object. So I do not see what parameter was that. Maybe I will. And what calculated field was that? I go to analysis, edit calculated field, see param 1 show height, that's the one. And now if I drag the field from the window from my other screen, you will see that I've got here this calculation. Okay, that was pretty difficult, and with the number of different calculations that are really similar in their names, it's very difficult to memorize and find. So beware of that. What I do myself, I mark each calculation that has something to do with visibility zones, that has something to do with control over visibility zones, with some small title extensions. I write in the title this zone. And then I know that the calculations has something to do with visibility zones. That's really worth doing. Okay, you might also have some visibility zones that are controlled with parameters, but still you would have to show the parameter control. Even if I do that, I can do that from analysis, parameters, and go in here. And even if I do that, metric and edit button, I might not know where it actually appeared. So that might be still difficult to see from this dashboard level. So if I can ask you something, beware about that and mark very well your parameters and that will be applied for controlling visibility zones, and do same with calculations. Okay, I've told you a little bit about visibility zones, and we have slowly moved to hierarchy of dashboard objects. What are these? You have just seen. We've got this nice, beautiful hierarchy, which is, let's be honest, pretty extensive and pretty long. Here I've got kind of luxury that the person who has created that has also named most of the elements, so I know what is which element. And when I go one by one, I have also another nice feature here. I hope it will be visible. Maybe let's go a little more down. Yeah. when I'm marking something on my hierarchy, it's marked also in my dashboard. So it's really easy to follow what is responsible for each element. Okay. And the other nice thing about that is that when you right click on element of your hierarchy, you will have also the whole menu under your right mouse button, containing more or less everything that you've got here under the arrow, which I tend to call carrot. So under the carrot, that's just exactly the same menu. And one of the very important points here is rename dashboard item. If you have got dashboard items hierarchy like here, when you've got tiled vertical, horizontal, 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 it really means nothing and there's no help for those who try to decipher that. So please name the objects. Okay. And when we go further, let's think about everything that we can learn and a couple of tricks that might make the search easier. First, remember about power of right click on your element, on your hierarchy of dashboard objects. Then a couple of interesting keyboard shortcuts. If you want to expand and collapse your elements hierarchy with keyboard, then use Shift plus asterisk and Alt minus for collapsing. Then a couple of shortcuts which are pretty interesting because they are also easy to memorize. When you go to dashboard and click Alt AU one by one, not at once, so Alt and chemical symbol of gold, then you will get edit calculations. Then if you want to use an I in dashboard, click Alt AI and you will be able to add filter control to your dashboard. And then Alt AP will add a parameter control. So just to show you what I mean, I will go here and I will click Alt AU for the gold symbol, and I get to editing calculated fields. Pretty useful. Same about adding this parameter, for example, or adding filter control, Alt AI for filters, and then Alt AP for adding parameters, Alt AP, yeah. And one more, which haven't been listed there, but is still easy to memorize, Alt BI, like business intelligence, to go into your actions and see what actions have been actually used in the dashboard. Okay, these were my hidden tricks, and now let's go one step further. I've got my dashboard. I've got a couple of charts underneath. That's one of them. We already know that there is hidden vision tooltip, but there are also a couple of calculations here. Not many. Here it's, I think, the tech. So what to do to learn what is underneath the calculation? Well, of course, I can go to search, get here, find the tag. Then when I click it with the carrot, I've got two options. I can either use edit or describe to see what's underneath. I usually go for describe. Why? Because I can use describe when I edit something else. So that's pretty useful. But going through calculations one by one might be pretty inconvenient. So what can we do? What else can we do? I will try to look at all the calculations at once. So what I will do, I will click C and colon. You've got suggestion for that here in this nice tiny funnel. And now I've got list of all my calculations in my data set. If I add now new worksheet, copy all these into the detail, or drag them just into the detail all at once. And now press Ctrl E to show sheet description. I will have my calculations here. So I copy what I need about them, Ctrl C, and I go to I will add new sheet here, yeah, and I go to Notepad++. I put them in here, and that's not really very easy to read, though it's way easier when you've got it in Notepad, and you can use Control H just to find whatever, or Control F to find whatever you need, yeah, with just searching. Control F, yeah, for search. But that's not still very easy. I can add here Tableau language. When I do that, I will have my calculations underlined. And now when I have it in separate screen and I try to uncover the secret of my dashboards, it's just handy. I can use it anytime. So how was it done and how can I make advantage of that? First, use search options because the C calculations, or just limiting your search to dimensions or measures, might be very useful. Then second thing, Control E will reveal the description of your dashboard. Then there is a language for Notepad++ to make your calculations more visible. You will get that with the bit.ly code, and also the presentation I'm having here is available in the internet, so you can also use it from the presentation. Then please use the scribe. That's very useful. And when you want to make the whole experience even nicer and even better, in the internet there are quite a few small applications that allow you to dig into Tableau metadata. Really nice things, really useful. I've seen at least 4 of them or 5, and there are just 2 named: Tableau Zen Parser, Tableau Data Dictionary. Each of them allows to download all the calculations from Tableau workbooks. Some of them allow also to see the hierarchy and all the relations between calculations. That tends to be very useful as well. But there might be also some traps when you go into your dashboards. And what might be this? Okay, some of them might be hidden in actions. So pay attention to actions and check actions each time. There might be some sneaky vision tooltip, and we have mentioned that already. The other thing is that you might approach some problems when you have unmarked source fields for parameters or visibility zones. I have talked already about visibility zones, but you can imagine other situation. We've got a pair of parameters that allow us to filter just the, let's say, last 3 days when we open our dashboard. Then our viewers have option to change the period to any other with parameters, but the default values in the parameters allow you to filter just the 3 days. How are the parameters done? There are source fields behind them, and the source fields look just like unused fields. So if they are not marked, they might be a kind of thing to watch out for and kind of hidden trap. So it's good to mark these. And finally, there might be some tricky ad hoc calculation. And let me show you ones like that. Okay, what do we have here in our rows shelf? I've got something. Gosh, what is something? Let's check it. Let's check it if I have such a field in my data pane. Something? No, I do not. So what's that? Maybe that's ad hoc calculation. I can click on that, and my goodness, that's not really helpful. And that's not best practice, believe me. I have found that in the dashboard provided by a competitive consultancy. And yeah, that was a surprise. Where's the calculation? It's underneath. You need to use your keyboard arrows to go down and to see what's there underneath. That's the ship mode. So my something is ship mode. Why was it used? Sometimes we need to rename the column without changing the name of the peel. So what we can do, we can use the kind of comment to do that. But probably better practice would be to do that with a block comment and then put the calculation in the same line, because then it's visible to your users if they come across the idea of looking into ad hoc calculation. It's possible for them to decipher that easily without knowing the feature. Okay, but we've got something worse here. What's that? That's the same actually, but here I've got block comment with nothing inside. You probably think that it's just space. I put space here, and now it's not empty peel, it's the peel with some calculation inside. So it's not space. I go back. What is that? That's actually Unicode character 2800, and that's something I search each time for in internet. Just put that into this character 2800. I put that into Google search and then find it and copy into my calculations. And whenever in Tableau space does not do its job, you put the character 2800 and it will make what space should do. So that's also very useful, though it might be tricky. That's not best practice. Do not use it. Just beware when someone might use it in the report that you will be uncovering. Okay, so that's more or less it. I will now go back to my presentation. Okay, and let's talk about the lessons for the future. Probably the most important lesson is just that you should design your report the way you would like to inherit them. What do I mean? Think about the documentation. You've got data guide, something I forgot to talk about, so I will just for a moment go to my Tableau. And look, we've got here this nice sign, which is data guide. And here's some space. What's the space for? It's a wonderful place where you can just write 2 sentences or 1 sentence naming what is this dashboard for and for whom it was created. These are the most important information to let people understand what is it for and why was it created. It's really, really worth doing. So if you are designing your dashboards, please think about writing something like that into your data guide. Just 1 or 2 sentences for each dashboard, not much work. Then the other thing that is worth doing is commenting your calculations. If they are tricky, let people know about that, writing comments inside the calculations. And one more thing, I don't know if you know about that, but there are 2 kinds of comments. You can write comments starting with 2 slashes or these block comments into your calculations, but you have also comments in default properties. And that kind of comments are available not only for calculations, but also for sets, parameters, and all other kinds of tools. So it's really worth using these as well. And they will be available once you hover with your mouse over data pane, because they will appear there in tooltip. Okay. Then one more thing, remember about marking source fields for parameters and visibility zones. Again, leave comments where you put this in tooltip or some other tricky solutions, and put these comments just in caption next to your charts, and that will be huge help for those who inherit your dashboards. And finally, avoid sneaky version of ad hoc calculations, the one that I have shown you just a moment before. Thank you for that. Thank you for listening to the presentation, and I hope you will use all the tips as much as you can do and create better dashboards that will be also friendly to those who come after you. Thank you.